Welcome to Formnext 2022 and welcome to the AM4U stage here in Frankfurt at Formnext. And welcome here, my dear guests. We are here in the morning talk and I'm very happy to have Petra Haarburger here with me. Petra is President of Mesago. Then we have Sascha Wenzler. I'm very happy, Sascha, to have you here because Sascha may be the most well-known face here in the exhibition halls. Sascha is Vice President of Formnext.
Good morning.
And I'm really happy to have Sven here, Sven Krause. He's my co-host here on the stage, and I'm very happy that you will be host here for a lot of lectures and presentations here on this stage, and I think there will be very, very much interesting news and insights which you will bring to the audience. And then we have Aleksander Ciszek. He is here with a very special project. Later more to that concerning that project. Aleksander brought here some news to us with some very interesting and important topic. But starting with our host, Petra. Petra, what does it mean to you that we are now and right here in the exhibition?
I think it's just so wonderful to be back. As an exhibition organizer, you know, it wasn't so normal for the last 3 years, as everybody knows. And yeah, it's just always this sparkling, great feeling to be in the halls again, to hear this buzzing. And Sascha and I, we just met for breakfast this morning and we walked here and this excitement rises while coming here. And then when the doors open, it's just like, yeah, I mean, this is our passion, this is what we love, and we want to bring people together, and we just look forward to doing this in the next 4 days.
It's a very, very, the time is very consuming right now because it's not the only exhibition you're running.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, we had a very successful SPS last week, which is on automation. It was staged in Nuremberg, and I just said at Mesago we always have this exhibition marathon as our 2 biggest shows are in the end of the year. But I mean, what's nicer before Christmas coming, having the 2 nicest and biggest events successfully, and then going into celebrating a little bit and then into the next year. So I think this is just wonderful, and it just keeps you up on this high level of, I think, adrenaline when you're here and seeing all these smiling and anxious faces, actually.
Yeah, perfect. Sascha, you and your team organized a really comprehensive framework program. What can you tell us a little bit? What is we cannot cover everything for sure, but can you tell us a little bit about your highlights? What is there that you're very interesting most?
Yeah, so it's at the moment, or for this edition of Formnext, I think the most comprehensive side event framework we ever had, because we always had a kind of mission, creating not only a show floor where square meters are relevant, but creating a space for a community. And therefore it was also very important for us as organizers to support and create platforms for know-how transfer. So we have a lot of content side events running. Many of them are here on this stage, are transmitted live and hosted by you guys. And many more are in the halls. So we have.
Say some examples, please.
Yeah, we have a special show for building and construction, for example. Then, together with our honorary sponsor VDMA, we have a user case area especially dedicated this year to the OPCUA platform. So it's machine-to-machine communication, and that's highly important for the community, because additive manufacturing grew up, it's very mature. So now we talk and we show a lot of highly industrialized topics. And furthermore, we have a partner country, France, this year, and the whole Wednesday is dedicated to France with a French program. So there are a lot of sessions and lectures going on in France. We have a new format, it's called Deep Thought. It's also taking place here on the stage. And in deep thought, with keynotes, lectures, and discussions, we concentrate very deeply in a technical topic, also in this industrialized framework. So these are some of the, let's say, technology highlights. And then for sure we have, and Alex knows this perfectly, we have the Startup Challenge running since many, many years, right from the beginning of Formnext, with the Pitch Next event, supporting fresh and new companies, joining the market, coming in the market, and presenting here to all the audience their abilities. We have a best of 10 years per Mundus Design Challenge, because additive 3D printing and design are very familiar, and you can create a lot of beautiful things by creating them in an additive way. So all these things are happening throughout the show days.
Sven, you're covering a lot of sessions for the whole week, and can you give a slightly overview about what you will host here on stage, or what you know that will be interesting for the visitors?
So it's super difficult to pick out a highlight, honestly, regarding the program over the next 4 days. We kick off today with a super exciting panel from Women in 3D Printing, heading over to the just mentioned Pitch Next event with our exciting startups here from Formnext. This year we have 20 pitches, so it will be a marathon, as Petra said, but in a positive way. And there's so many panels and experts' insights to come. So it's really hard to pick some out. My personal highlight is the stage, and that we're doing this in this intense form this year. This is my personal highlight.
Okay, Aleksander, as I mentioned earlier, you are here with a very special project. Maybe we come back later to some other topics. But at first hand, I would like that you give us an insight about your project. What is it? Or maybe we begin. What is your role in additive manufacturing? That we know who you are and where you are coming from.
I'm Alex. I'm CEO of 3Mind. 3Mind is a software which enables on-demand manufacturing. But I'm not here in this role, actually. I'm here to present something else. I'm not sure if we can show one slide which I brought. There is one important thing on the slide. Exactly. So for everyone who wants to have a little bit of fun and also do and support the Ukrainian community, they should scan this QR code. So what we have observed in the last couple of days is that, months actually, is that many of the community members got together to help in a difficult project and a difficult time. And we saw the same during COVID. However, now during the war just next door, it seems that the stakeholders which are involved in supporting humans and their need are much more getting together. So this is one difference which I have at least observed. And with this cooperation with many different companies, it wouldn't be enough to mention all of them. Those logos over there on this slide, this is just an example of many more contributors. We got together and we decided that we want to produce parts which are missing. So we basically executed the concept of on-demand manufacturing in a very harsh environment, because we had to do it very quickly. And so what happened is that, first of all, well, we raised some cash to produce parts, but we also produced around 40,000 parts. That resulted in over 30 documented life savings and also 8 critical surgeries which need to happen very quickly. And what we want to do at Formnext, and thank you by the way for supporting this initiative, is to fundraise for this purpose. So if you scan this QR code, you will end up on a platform where you can auction some items, and all the proceeds from this auction will go to this good cause, this charity.
Cool.
A lot of business people are very concerned about, being too much political. You did not have that impression.
Well, it is not about politics in the first place. In the first place, it's about saving human lives. So The parts which are produced are medical parts. A very interesting thought, by the way. During COVID, there was also a need for medical parts, but then also during COVID, we ended up in this certification roller coaster. And during war, everyone forgets this problem. However, you still want to make sure that the parts we produce, for example, we produce the tourniquet, which basically the function of this part is to make sure that your wound doesn't, that you don't lose too much blood when you're wounded. And we still wanted to make sure that obviously whenever a soldier or a civilian uses a tourniquet, then that it works and it doesn't break. So a company from Warsaw, Signis, did a couple of test sprints. They tested it in real life, and then we were sure enough to just say, okay, this part is good enough to ship it to Ukraine. So again, for me, it's not political. For me, it's about the human aspect of this crisis.
Can you tell us a little bit about the donation project? What can a user or a visitor, when he scans the QR code, what will he discover? What will he find there?
Right. So once scanning the QR code, you will end up on an auction platform where you will see a couple of very, very cool items. We have 3D printers, we have materials, we have a Woolers report, we have a subscription to the AM Power online course, and a couple of very, very cool other. My favorite one is, I think, sunglasses, 3D printed. Once you're there, you can just purchase or auction on those items, and if you win, first of all, you get the item, but also all the proceeds without any processing costs will go directly to support the good cause.
Did you already had a chance to look at that project and to scroll through the different items?
Yeah, so we were in content I think since a couple of weeks. So it's like Alex is saying, it's a very human project. And just yesterday I received a tip to exchange the glasses, so maybe I do the ones which are printed from the auction and not just go in a shop for printed glasses. So yeah, it's a good combination of AM and human aid.
Petra.
And if I may, just sorry, one more thing, because you asked, is it political or not? I think right now we have this urgent problem of helping people in Ukraine, but I hope that, together within the Formnext contact, that's just a little bit of a seed which I want to plant, is maybe we can do it every year, and hopefully not for Ukraine, hopefully for other people in need.
I think it's an attitude thing as well, and I think this is exactly what we're here for, bringing people together, and this also, it helps AM, but this, I think it's wonderful to be able to use the community also to do humanity and to help that. So I think this is very nice, and I hope that we go, and the auction will really raise a lot of money that goes directly there. That will be wonderful.
Aleksander, you mentioned the printed products. We have two products here on stage, actually. Two nice examples, and I wonder if somebody from you would take one of these home to furniture your own home. We have a table over there, results of Mike Doberak of 3D printing startup Big Rep in Berlin, with a large format FDM printer, and he said that the challenge was to develop shapes which show that they were produced using a digital manufacturing method, but that they are also functional and useful. And I'm very happy that we have this piece here, because it combines a lot of things we are talking about on the exhibition here. So not just making a product, but making a product in a different way, in another way. And I think that's what your donation project says as well. You were starting very, very quickly, or you had to start very quickly, so to get to the people very fast, right?
Exactly, yes. As to your question about would I have it at my home, we have it in the office, exactly the same table. At home, I have to negotiate with my girlfriend, but and also to the other point, we have some items from BigRep on the platform as well. So please have a look. Maybe you like something. But the aspect which you just mentioned, the important part of it is that with AM you can produce very fast, and parts were just missing. So the concept of on-demand manufacturing, it's not only something which AM started and is successful in delivering, but it's also something which sets a trend for other production technology. So, for example, we see customers who say, look, this on-demand concept could be applied also for other production technology. So this is where we are setting a trend as an AM community, I think.
Yeah, and we have really difficult times. So it's not only the war in Ukraine. When you take a look on the planet, what happened the last 3 years, it was a crazy situation. We had the pandemic. We have severe supply chain disruptions. We have lack of material. We have still the question of climate change. So it's just, it's a century topic and it's still not solved. So we have many problems around the planet and increasing problems. And also, in my opinion, AM cannot solve these problems overall, but additive manufacturing, and that's what you will hear from the, for example, from the TCT conference. Just to two people talk on a booth with when the companies discuss and their customers, AM can bring a part of a solution, or AM can create. When you use AM in an intelligent way, it can create at least some new ways of manufacturing goods, of thinking of new products, of rethinking supply chains, of dislocated production. So all these advantages of additive manufacturing are able to give at least little or a part of the answers to all of our today's really relevant problems all over the world.
And I think, Alex, what you just said is so important, is this different approach also to do things and to do it fast, and not to maybe plan for years, because I think we don't have any more time to plan for years sometimes. And I think this is also something, it's a mental change maybe also a little bit, and this approach that came through the AM community, because the overall production and this help now is so instant and so spontaneous. I think this is something lots of people can learn from, because as I said, I think it's an attitude to really just see the problem and to try to solve it. And maybe not perfect right away, but to help, and then you improve.
Well, I think there are a couple of aspects to your point. So first of all, let me give you my observation. So we see companies investing millions and almost billions into, first of all, their logistics, their warehouses, but also into predictive maintenance, and still downtime happens. And downtime is so expensive, right? So I see, the ability to produce on demand is just an addition, to the insurance package, let's say, if you want. To make sure that your production line is running. Now, to get to the point that you can produce on demand, you can produce a part on demand, you have to invest a little bit of energy, right? So this is the let's say, upfront cost which one needs to take, which is related to qualification or requalification. And it doesn't apply only to AM, but because AM is having this feature of producing of producing fast, yeah, you have to requalify your parts sometimes, right? Which is painful, but many industries go into that direction anyway.
When we are talking so much about the Sven, about the advantages, did you recognize it in an upgrowing market for the exhibition as well? So do we have more exhibitors here, or different kind of exhibitors?
I think definitely we did see a great development during our Formnext history, I would say, yeah, starting from really having more the core of the, I would say, AM community who really do additive manufacturing, but I think now coming into this more industrialized way and application, there's so many now doing, for example, in the post-processing parts, we just saw, people looking at surfaces, improving them. So I think this is something we really see, that the AM community grew. Yeah, not only the core, but everybody who has to do with specializing and doing really final parts that work.
Exactly. So it's not a discussion about a printer or an AM machine alone. So it's about for a customer, on a customer point of view or a user industry, it's about manufacturing solution. And that's exactly what happened over the last years in the additive manufacturing industry. This shift towards manufacturing solutions, and also it's not a discussion anymore. Do we produce parts on a conventional way, or do we choose to make them additive? Because now everybody understands, hey, additive is a puzzle part in a manufacturing environment. And you need to find the right place where to put it. And then you gain the benefits out of it, you can create the business cases, and therefore we see here, and for this year you asked, we right now have 802 exhibitors on 4 show floors again, like in 19, it's nearly the numbers of 19 with 855 going back, but last year we were also happy to host the more than 600 companies in very difficult pandemic times. So more and more companies are also entering this industry, showing their technologies to create surfaces on parts, to control the quality of parts, to color parts, to separate parts, or in the pre-processing, weighing, measuring, quality control of the material.
So if you look at the process chain, you really cover the whole process chain from the visitor's point of view. When the visitor comes, can he find from the first beginning to the post-processing everything, every step?
Yeah, that's what we created. Also, it's a very deep core of the concept for Formnext. So it's just right. Beginning with the idea, how to bring an idea to a final part, you need a lot of steps. And these steps are covered on the different stands from the companies showing these technologies.
Sven, you had a question earlier, but I think it was not concerning the process chain.
No, it was rather an advantage that we see here with this project that Alex just mentioned, and Peter, you as well, the topic of regulation was falling aside. And this is something I really would appreciate if we still push the limits, that regulation goes faster, because sometimes I feel like AM is limited or challenged by regulations all the time, and this hinders the breakthrough. And I would be happy not only having crisis to cover that, but to get in the positive situation that we sometimes get faster to a product, because whatever we see in AM is solving problems, and most of the time the main challenge is then regulation and bring it to the market, especially medical. If you think about orthopedics, I mean, this is really a pity that we need like 5 to 10 years of regulation instead of bringing the products directly to the market and see how they help right up front.
Aleksander, is the regulation the only topic in getting what hinders us in getting faster to the market, or do you see other aspects as well?
I see other aspects as well. Regulations are important, but I also think that what is important is to first of all have the trendsetters, so the forward-looking companies which go ahead and set up some standards, de facto standards. And secondly, it's important also that we have followers. One very cool example which I want to mention today is from the railway industry, which I think is setting a trend and creating a market, actually, if you want. For example, Deutsche Bahn will, from all trains which are bought after 2030, Deutsche Bahn will ask the suppliers to provide spare parts until the end of the lifetime of the train. If the supplier cannot provide the spare part, then the Deutsche Bahn will ask for the digital twin. So that is forcing basically the suppliers to be able to produce parts on demand, probably with additive technologies. And for me, it's creating a market.
But there you have the regulation topic as well, because you have a lot of security issues when talking about train applications. So that may be a problem there as well.
I think it's the question and the answer. So yesterday we attended the ASTM Standards Forum, for example, where the standardization and norms specialists from Europe and from the US met to talk about creating joint standards for additive manufacturing. And these standards, also when we are sitting in a train or we are boarding an aircraft, I think everybody of us wants to be quite sure that the parts used in such technology we are sitting currently in are quite perfectly certified and have the quality they need. So it needs to be done faster, but on the other hand, it needs to be done because the certification process is necessary for industrial way of manufacturing the product. So, and it's happening. But like all things, especially standardization needs more time than we would wish to have everything faster on the street.
Yeah, but as you said, Alex, I think you need the ideas first, yeah? And you need the innovation. You need somebody who has a great idea, and then you start. Usually, you have these first movers, you have the followers, and then usually through scaling, you get into this standardization thing. Yeah, beforehand, it's more of an idea, and bringing it to life is important. And so you need both of it. Yeah, you need this. I always say this. I don't think I've ever seen any exhibition or any industry even I know that has been so innovative, that where there were so many people really look at the startups, how many people come up just with great ideas. And I think this is also the spirit that you feel here, which I love, and I think we like it all the time. That is in comparison, as I just said, we had the SPS last week, and if you look at automation industry, it's just a completely different mentality there than it is over here. And I think this is essential to really have people who have great ideas and also who want to change things, who really are burning for really doing this. And I think, this is part of the success story.
Yeah. And if I may just very, very quickly add, because we talked about regulations on one hand, but at the end of the day, it was about the quality of the part. You mentioned the example of the plane. I think that, yes, we need regulations to make sure that the part is certified and is well done, but it's also a big area where technological solutions can come in, right? So that's the beauty of our industry, that we are basically playing on a green field, and with technological solutions, we will be talking about OPC-UA later today, with ensuring that the part was produced as planned. That's kind of where this industry goes, and the learnings from this industry can be applied also in other industries.
Yeah. Sascha, one sentence concerning the industry sectors. Can you give us a brief insight about where the visitors will come from? Do you have some numbers from the recent years? So do they cover more automotive or more mechanical engineering, or the air and aviation sector? Can you give us some numbers?
Yeah, so a large portion of visitors historically come from aerospace, from automotive, from medtech, medical technology, from the dental field, and from mechanical engineering. These are the big five. But now, like Alice just mentioned, additive manufacturing can be used not only in the product, but in nearly every manufacturing environment on the right place. So we have a lot more industries joining additive manufacturing or discovering additive manufacturing. Therefore, just one more event, the Discover 3D Printing seminars, because our mission is also to encourage new or smaller or medium-sized companies to come in touch with the technology, to use AM and to discover the advantages. And there you have building, construction, the white goods, so many more possibilities, application possibilities joining.
And we will see most of them here on stage. So that will be a very interesting week, I think we have ahead, and I'm very happy to have you here. I wish you a lot of success with your project, and a lot of money for the donation. I hope it will really run fast and high. Dear visitors, I only can encourage you, the audience, to support all these projects with all your might. But now I would say let's start into a trade week together. And after a short break, Sven will again be here on the stage, and I think he will welcome some interesting women in 3D printing.